Hello, everybody. And today I'm very excited to really dive in and share more about new plans that we are looking to take. Okay, in regards to the trading, some of the plans that this again, dismiss, don't show this again. So some of the plans actually show to work very well. Tesla today also going higher amazingly. We still hold quite a few of the position. We scaled out along the way, worked out phenomenally, and I believe that very shortly Tesla will either hit to 187. If it surpasses it, it will come to 190, 191, and then it will start a downtrend again. And you know something, I was actually just looking right now at one of the companies. It's ZO. Let me see here. I have this under this watch list. It's an ZO. So why I want to show you that, because it's important to understand also about why you don't want to trade only uh, one ticker or one company. Because as you can see here, right, what happened, it was going and more or less consolidating for a very, very long period of time. Okay, now some people will tell you, like when you have such consolidation period, it's you then look at patterns and you follow those patterns. But if you look here, that's an example, it's broke below this pattern. Okay, and what happened, it's turned around and went completely the opposite direction. Again, maybe some people will say there is different patterns they watch, but I just go based on higher time frame analysis and figure out from there. So it's not that I want to go based on only patterns, because sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And Warren Buffett actually says an amazing statement. He says the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient person. So it's very, very important to be patient, wait for your plans to work out. And right now, I was speaking to my friend, which also is in the market doing very well. And he shared with me something that once I check and see that it's actually working, I will share that with you guys as well. Very excited about that, and great things to share with you very, very soon. Okay, so let's go and do some plans. Okay, so do some plans. What I did today as well, I basically went over, just as I shared with you the other day, go over alerts just to see where we are with the chart so far. So on Apple, okay, I actually I see here we have a great no, based on this structure, no. Um, but on Apple, I want to do a bit more analysis to see if there is any area that we want to have a short or a long. Okay, so let's quickly look here. So here, this one was great. So you can see from here. However, it's just passed it by, and as I'm saying this, I'm also looking and saying it's not as great because location wise it's in the middle of the move and not at the top of it or the bottom of it. Okay, here the wick is a bit higher, but can be a great zone. Depends also how the month will close and the continuation of that, the week. So there we have the here we have a great zone overall. Okay, so that's on a daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame, and we want to change that to green because we want to buy on that area. Okay, um, Then what we want to do, we want to, there is no really, so we want to mark the high of the stock that ever been achieved. Okay, so we can also put the high, and what we want to see, we want to see only based on this here. So it's 0.70. So if we put here a stop loss, if we put here a stop loss, we want to make sure that the stop loss is about 0.70. Okay, at the minimum. Why? Because historically how it's worked out. Okay. Great. So we have that. We had here earnings. We had here dividends. Very nice. Yes. Very nice. Okay. So also other confirmation that I want to share with you. It's very important always to make sure that you look over your confirmations and just make sure that you have all of them in place so you don't all of a sudden forget something. So number one, we want to look for zones of supply and demand as confirmations. Okay, so we have this one. This one is a daily. Okay, let's look if we have anyone here that will go on a lower, like supply zone. So we have this one right here, which is great. Okay, so let's highlight that. Okay, and again, every time I will tell you, when I used to watch back then, supply and demand zones, what is it? It's 6 hours. I didn't used to ask myself as much question, okay, why? What can I see? So it's important to pay attention to those little details and figure out how you can basically start to see the same thing. So remember always to look for those three things. Location, that's the first thing that you look for. Top or bottom of the move. Then after you see the location, you look for basically the size of the candle, okay, of the basing candle, and then you want to look for the structure of the down move, that there is a massive drop compared to the basing candle, which there is, closing close to the bottom of the candle, and continuation of the trend of the move. Okay, so it's not a a drop, then a rally, drop, rally, drop, rally, consolidation, and then move to the bottom or to the top. It's not going to be as powerful of a zone for you then. Okay, so we have here this one. Okay, then what we can do here, we can go from the highest to the lowest of this point. Okay, and we can see that more or less it's worked out very well within this area. So roughly from here to here worked out very well. So we know that from the top we can short, from the bottom we want to long, which we have two great zones in this area. So then we go to the 4 hours. See this, no, not as good here. And you can see it's broke above that pretty much. Okay, then we go to this, not as good for us. We have here another zone that is as a great zone for us. However, the other one covers both of them, so we will leave it at that. Okay, 195, half a session. 195. Let's see. There is this zone. The only thing that I would say about this zone that it's in the middle of the move, so you don't want to consider that as much, because even when I see it, I recognize it, and then I'm asking myself, is it basically in those three things: location, structure, and size category? If no, then you move on. Okay, then we have 90 minutes. In our 90 minutes, we have this zone, which is very nice as well. So then I need to highlight this one. Which both of them are very nearby. And both of them are fair, okay, to say the least. But what we will do in a moment, this is 90 minutes. What we will do in a minute, we will see which one we want to keep, okay? So we have this 0.14, and then we have a drop of 0.80, 83, and then we have this one, 0.17 and 0.90. So it's pretty much almost identical by a couple of points difference. The only thing what I'm thinking then it's basically doing multiple of entries and exits. Okay, so let's say one will enter here with a stop loss somewhere here, and take profit within this area, and then another entry will be here, stop loss in the same area, and then I can take profit earlier in this area, and then another entry here with take profit a bit lower than that, of such sort, something along those lines. Okay, but we have to look at multiple confirmation before we can say 1,000,000% that is good or not good for us. Okay, sorry. 45 minutes. 45 minutes, 30 minutes. So you can see what I'm doing here. Also, I'm already in a position with Apple for longs, but I'm still analyzing again because there is more data since I went long. Okay, more data. So I want to figure out, number one, where I can exit. Number two, if I want to short when I exit as well. Okay, so those are two things that you want to review as well. Okay. So now also important to understand that you want to give a cushion of stop loss. Okay, it's very important for that case. Okay, I will go back to this person after, no problem. So this is all good. We have everything on that sense. Actually, okay. So we have that. More or less, this would be my plan to take profit somewhere in this area and put my short of such sort. Again, you can make your calculation of risk, so then you know roughly the reward and how many contracts or shares you want to buy on each position. So if it's 100, 500, or 1,000, you do your calculation accordingly, which I can do the calculation here again just for the sake of getting the plan down path. So let me see. So confirmation of percent downtrend. Okay, yeah, and a whole number. So whole number will be roughly in this area. So we have a $200 in this zone. $200, it's in here. So this is $200. If this is wrong, then what we will want to do, we will want to have an entry in this area going short, because typically when it's surpassing such and coming to the highs, okay, you will see by the highs, retest there and go short just for a bit and then comes back up. And plus on the ES, you can see that it's had 10 days, okay, of straight green, and then ever since that time that it's also reached the new highs, it's basically consolidating for multiple days. Yesterday I had a great future trade here that I made a short roughly at almost the high with my stop loss above the high here by 2 ticks, and was waiting for that short, which worked out very well. And as you can see here, when we had this zone as well, okay, what happened? It was at the beginning as a demand, as a supply, and then it became a demand. So you see at a retest, it went long, and that's why it's important to keep your zone in place until it's not final confirmation, or no, like let's an example, once it's broke below, then you can delete it. But now it will maybe use it again for additional sellers or buyers that will be sitting here. If it breaks below, you delete that, you have this one as a new confirmation for long. Okay, so, and also you can look at this one as a confirmation as again. So you see here it went higher. When it came lower to the 100-day moving averages, it's rejected on that and moved higher. Now this zone will be much higher than that, so it's also an additional confirmation that you can play short, because it will want to go and reject from or get the support line from that. Okay, so it's very important to see that. Okay, so this, now we're going to create the plan here. Okay, let me see if I have it here. It's not here. Good. Okay, so my plan, we will be risking $500. Okay, $500, and for that, what we want to understand, it's basically we want to write our prices of entry. First will be 19371, then will be 19482, then will be 19555. Okay, and now here what we want to do, $500 of risk, so we have to calculate how much is our total risk here. So $3.07 plus $1.96 plus $1.23. That's our risk, okay? And equal with that, it will be, you just do simple math to that, 3.07 plus 1.96 plus 1.23 equal 6.26. Okay, so $6.26. So then what you want to do is basically look at it from that perspective. I have to figure out the math on that. So if we have $6, okay, $500 divide by $6.26. Okay, so $500 divided by 6.26 cents. This will be equal to more or less 80 contracts, but 79 79 shares. Now, why I take 79? Because it's 79.8788, so it's typically 80. But I want to make it a bit less because you also have the cost of shares, which really, if you have a pro account, you will pay $1 up to 200 shares with Interactive Brokers. Okay, so it's not going to cost you really much. So in theory, I can do 80 shares as well. So let's make 80 just so we are rounding it up. Okay, 80 is average. Okay, so here also what will be our average risk to reward? Risk to reward average will be 2.16 plus 5.85 plus 2.59 equal my risk to reward will be 5.85 plus 2.16 plus 2.59 equal divide by 3, so it will be 3.53. Okay, so it's a very good risk to reward for us. And also, if you ask us for the reasons as to why we have those take profits and why we have that stop loss, we have the explanation to each one of those questions. So this will be our entry points. Okay, this will be our entry points. This will be our entry points. Let me just mute my phone. Our take profit, our stop loss. We want to mention that first. Our stop loss will be 196.78. Okay, so we want to determine how many we enter at each point. So at the first point, we will want to enter at the first point we will want to enter half of the position, so 40 shares. So if we do 40 shares times 40 shares times 3.07, so we are yes, we are basically looking to risk at this position we are looking to risk 122.8. If we are putting here another 25 shares, so at this 25 shares times 1.96, we're looking to risk another $49. Okay, and then what we do, we ask ourselves now, because you see again, this is the average of that entry. So what we want to ask ourselves now, if we have, no, we want to have a lot more shares at the beginning stage here, which will be, let's say, 60 shares. So 60 shares times 3.07, we are risking, I made a mistake on this math here, I think, or maybe not, because if overall, yeah, I think, yeah, if I make 80, is it, if I make 80 shares at 3 times 3.7, 200, 80 shares times 1.96. Okay, let me see something. 80 times 3.07, 80 times 3.07 will be equal 245.6. 80 times 1.96, 156.8. 80 times 1.23, 3 will be 98.4. So it seems that I need to do here, I need to do 80 shares per entry. I love it. Okay, got it. So now I got it. And you see, this what I'm saying, that we both are learning at that the same time. So it's 508. Phenomenal. So it saves me so much this math. Wow, got it. Okay, so now I understand. So basically, I will be entering with 160 basically, I will be entering with 240 shares into this times 196, $47,000 position. Okay, good. Now what happens? We want to look at basically putting more towards why am I looking to enter at each one of the position. Okay, so I'm looking here because number one, it's above the moving averages. Number two, so what I want to do, write it down. Confirmations above the moving averages, top of 50% fib buy at two key levels of supply and demand, of supply. One, 6 hours and 90 minutes. Okay. Now also we can look for a daily and see if we have overall Now will be great if you ask yourself what is he exactly looking for your own sake as well, because you want to, understand when I'm looking at something what I'm looking at just by having the mouse there, but of course as well for your own sake, more or less to understand those things, um, as we continue learning together. So what happens, you have here basically support and resistance. Okay, so it's a more or less key support and resistance, because you can see it touched here, rejected, and then it came here again, and until it didn't broke above aggressively, it didn't really you know allowed itself to trade there. But also as it happened, it's continued to come down, show great resistance, and once it broke below aggressive. Okay, when it came back to it again, it's acted very great as support and resistance, so you can look at it as a key level. So I have here also, I will write that key level support and resistance. Okay, for that purpose as well. Entries. So first entry, just below the first 6-hour supply. Above the 6-hour supply, and at the beginning of 90 minutes supply. Then what we say here, sorry, this one, using all confirmations, stop loss if it passes the 2 supply zones, and the support and resistance, I will exit, wait to re-enter when it gets to the new highs, where there is also a whole number of $200. Okay. Take profits. So my take profits will be 1 at 189.75, 1 at 188.35, and 1 at 187.07. Why I'm looking to do that? For each of the take profits, I mainly look to take it because of a short-term support and resistance levels I found. Okay, so basically I take all of that. I will go here and I will open my notes for that and I will paste that. Add. So now I have that as my notes. Number one, for my own journaling, so I can delete that. And number two, I know the time, the date that all of that happened. It's really recommended. It's something that I really myself didn't know about before, but it's highly recommended if you want to make sure that you keep track of your own trades and entries, plans, and everything of that sort. Hope that helped. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Any questions, more than happy. I will be very interacting and active. You also will have our Discord link. Feel free to join our Discord link and ask any questions. We're there to support you and answer any of the questions live right away. Thank you. Have a great one. See you in the next one.